Tapering in inflation is coming to a reality. Nothing is recession or bear market proof, so I actually did just sell some of my stock portfolio, so I'm ready to strike in case something happens. But I wanted to share this because I'm choosing to stack up some dry powder on the side in case there is a substantial dip in all financial markets, including crypto. The bear market will eventually happen. You should always have a plan in place and some money on the side to take advantage of the markets when they're down. Investing in bear markets is how significant money is truly made. Hey everyone, my name is Taps, and what a ride it's been. We have seen Bitcoin drop to lows that many said could not have happened, below 22K. We have seen altcoins down 80, 90+%. Major companies are laying people off. Stocks are plummeting. There's world crisis. Interest rates are shooting up. Everything is down. So what do? Do we panic? No. We know that this is the ideal time for moves. You already know that if you've been watching this channel. In this video, I'm going to touch on the crypto markets as a whole. I'm going to go over my dollar cost average strategy for OMI right now, my thoughts on where the bottom could be for OMI, and how to also dollar cost average with Veve Collectible NFTs as well. As always, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the community and feel free to subscribe. I'm a crypto stock and real estate investor, but never a financial advisor. So I'm just going to go over a quick summary of all the FUD, all the fear that is happening right now. We saw what happened with Luna's unpegging, and now there's also fear with Tether, as well as several other crypto about potentially being unpegged as well. Some of the biggest Bitcoin maxis are in heavy losses, like several of Michael Saylor's moves on behalf of MicroStrategy, including a huge $205 million loan. There's a ton of fear around Celsius, potentially if Bitcoin drops below, I think somewhere around $16,000 a coin, where Celsius will be out of luck and they will not be able to actually pay back people who've been staking ETH on their platform. All this is causing more speculation around other crypto, other platforms that could fall from graces because it's happening all simultaneously. You see major companies like Coinbase and Tesla who are doing these large layoffs, top of world crisis continuing with things around Russia, as well as China potentially invading Taiwan. And what I've been saying for a long time, inflation had to come, right? It has been building up for a long time and it was going to rear its ugly head. And I've said for a long time, look at the traditional markets to follow what's going to happen in crypto and pay attention to the FOMC meetings, to the Fed events. If the rate hike isn't as high as we're expecting, that 75 basis point rate hike, then it could actually have crypto go up a little bit. If it does hit 75, then it will most likely go lower. But that's just this month. There's another FOMC meeting, July 26th and 27th, where we're actually expecting rates to go up again. So inflation is going up. Interest rates are going up. Unemployment is really just starting to go up a little bit, but it's far from the numbers that we see typically at the bottom of a market. One thing that we do see is that the crypto fear and greed index is at extreme fear of 7. 7 is absolutely insane. We can see so much fear in the market right now. Probably going to go a little bit lower or bounce around where it is now for a while, but this shows that this is a good time to buy, even if it goes a little bit lower. Long term, this is where you can really make some serious money stacking. So do I think the bottom of Bitcoin is in? I do not, but I think we're getting pretty close, and I think we'll be bouncing around there for a while. Now, history doesn't always repeat itself, but I do find this kind of interesting. When we look at the Bitcoin chart, we can see Bitcoin had its ultimate run up to all-time high, and then a large dip, and then a, hey, there's still hope, we're going to rally again, and then a huge dip, little bit dip, continued going, right? And then now we can see that it has continued all the way down. When we look at the psychology of a market cycle, we can see exactly what? Huge run up, very top, big dip, there's still hope, goes down, and continues down. So I do wonder if we're somewhere around this area right here. It means that we could go a little bit lower, up, down, up, and then go into an ultimate low. Again, history doesn't repeat itself, but this does look familiar. Okay, so let's talk about OMI. OMI is very down, but literally everything else is as well. Can it go lower? Yes. If Bitcoin hits 20K again, most likely there will be, again, more fear and people expecting expecting it to go even lower, which should make the price go below 0.0011 again. If Bitcoin falls as low as 18K, which is possible, then I believe we'll be looking at somewhere around a 0.009 and above OMI. But I think if we hit 0.009, it will be bought up incredibly fast because so many people have been talking about it lately going to that price. I've seen some huge buy orders that put in place that are well above 0.009. So if you're waiting to that point to just buy a ton of OMI, that's a risky game versus dollar cost averaging in a little bit high, and then as it goes a little bit lower, then adding continuously more. So I believe we're near the bottom. Difference of adding at 0.0009 versus 0.0011 is very slight unless you're adding 100 million OMI, which that would be what, about $20,000, versus let's say you're buying an additional 10 million OMI at 0.0009. That's a $2,000 difference. Well, let's not forget, not long ago, many were spending 0.006 for, let's say, 10 million OMI. $60,000 for 10 million OMI not long ago versus now 0.0011 times 10 million, $11,000. Or you can wait again to 0.0009 and spend 9,000. Or you can just dollar cost average along the way because otherwise you may never see that price point. The ability to stack at these prices is incredible. Now we know there's going to be a while, right? It could be a month, 2 months, 4 months of where that bottom could be in the bear market. But we also know that there are 2 weeks left in the quarter, and Veve has said that the updated OUP article is coming, MTL for all is coming, and KYC. 2 weeks left. So if these things do happen, we'll see a pump. Probably nothing crazy since we're in a high volatility phase, but it will still be a pump. And it'll take a little while before we drop back down to these prices if we even get this low, depending on what happens in the volatility of the market. Or if they don't deliver on these things by the end of the quarter or the end of the month, we could see a substantial dip. But again, that dip will be bought up. And then if these missed deadlines then come a few weeks after, then they'll pump. Again, the strategy is make sure that you're dollar cost averaging right at this price and not waiting for all of it at one smaller price. Now, I shared this slide deck on my last video a while back, and I went through a worst case, a recession plan, right? And I said exactly what I was going to be doing. I was going to be dollar cost averaging, go heavy in crypto NFT positions during max fear, which we're right about there, adding small positions, diversification, and I'm using some of that stacked cash that I've been talking about building since September of last year. So of course, not financial advice, but I would make sure that you're adding around this price with still having a good little chunk on the side in case those timelines are not met, which means we could see a drop. And that's when you spend more of that dry powder so that way you can scoop up the bottom. And we've seen quite a few different posts on Twitter and other locations that are alluding to the fact that Veve may not actually meet these timelines for the end of the month. Sam Ellis actually did post this. Does this mean we won't have MTL by the end of Q2? Some updates and clarity is needed. We're getting very close to deadline date. Expectations for most are MTL rollout. Reverend Alex, I think this was in Discord. Important note that we've always referred to these as Q2 priorities, not a due date deadline. If it slips, it won't be months, meeting this week to get the latest. Again, if that timeline is not met, there will be probably a lot of anger, which is understandable. But that is a great time for those who are in for the long run to scoop up during an ideal dip. So when we were in a bull market, how much of your paycheck were you throwing into crypto? Was it 20%, 30%, 50%? Why would you throw less of it now when everything is back down? Do you not still have the same convictions on most of the crypto that you were investing in? Everything is on sale now. You're part of the psychology of investing, right? Is you get this fear when there's all this fear around you and everyone is selling off or everyone's freaking out. The media is glamorizing it. And so you get afraid to actually pull the trigger on most of your investments when all of the prices have gotten down. And that is the best time to do it. If you're making investments in smart projects like OMI, the prices will come back and you're able to substantially lower your entry and stack a massive bag. Some of you could be like, yeah, Taps, but what if NFT crypto or NFT projects aren't relevant or just aren't around next bull run. Many won't make it through the crypto winter, but many already have. So when NFTs first really started popping up back around 2017, 2018, there were several crypto that did arise during that time and rode up in the bull market and then went through the crypto winter and then came out on the other side much larger this last bull run. That's Wax. We can see, even though it's not as large as Wax first run, Engine popped up in 2018 and then crypto winter and then made huge moves this bull run and is back down. Same thing with Decentraland, right? This jump right here, both of these, this is OMI's first jump on a cycle ever. So this potentially could look like this jump this next bull run in a couple years. Now, what about Veve NFTs? How do I dollar cost average with NFTs? Well, first of all, I'd say due to OMI's severe price drop, as well as all of the catalysts that are geared towards OMI coming up, OMI, in my opinion, is more advantageous now for an investment. However, Veve NFTs will have their day in the sunlight again. They'll be back in demand the next time we are actually, when we were back in a positive light for investments, which could be 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, who knows? But what's crazy is the larger, more popular drops are still selling out for the most part. I do believe the Veve market still has a bit more to drop, but in the interim, you can dollar cost average with your collectibles. There's a couple different strategies you can apply. There are several that you could actually sort and look through and see what are the absolute cheapest, the most down in terms of price and could rally back up. So you can actually look by floor price. You could look at the top losers and try to go that route. I'm on Ecomi Wiki, which has been something that I've used for a long time now. But what I would say is your best bet is look at the most popular. Your grail pieces like Todd's or Waltz, for a long time, those were out of reach. However, you know that they will be also the ones that will go up much quicker. Another tactic that you can apply is actually look at some of the total listings, see what has the least amount of listing and how the price has dropped. We can see that the Ghostbusters logo is $5,999. There are only 7 listed, and the last previously sold was for $8,800. Now I'm not really wanting to spend $6,000 on this right now. However, this is a significant drop from the last previously sold, and there are only 7 listed. So there are several Veve collector whales who do have a large amount of certain collectibles. I imagine this is probably one of them. So that's collecting strategy, but I mentioned dollar cost averaging with collectibles. If you have, let's say, a Steamboat Willie, let's say you bought it at $3,000. How do you dollar cost average that collectible? If you believe in that collectible, it has long-term growth and that it's at an extreme low, if you buy a Steamboat Willie now for, let's say, $800, and now you've dollar cost average between the two collectibles at a lower average price. And then once we get back to highs, you can then sell off one of your Mickeys at a higher price, thus lowering your total average price of the two. So I believe there is more downside in this bear market to go, and these times are scary. People lose jobs, fortunes, and belief in their investments. Time and time again and again and again, these times are what people like Warren Buffett, Raul Paul, and many others chomp on their bit for. This has the potential to be one of the largest dips in the market since 2008, which means there's more pain coming. But when you look back at those who invested in 2008, who weren't freaking out and made wise decisions on their investments, at the bottom where there was the most pain saw insane gains over the next 10 to 12 years from that point. Dollar cost averaging OMI in some Veve NFTs now feels like buying Amazon stock in 2008 for $3 a share. This bear run is going to make the entire idea of aiming for a $1 OMI absolutely obsolete, because most of us now are able to accumulate much larger bags faster and cheaper thanks to dollar cost averaging. If you're doing this, if you're dollar cost averaging right now, you're not just sitting on your bags at an average price of 0.008, you don't need to wait to $1 OMI in order to be a millionaire. People are all stacking different amounts, but 1 cent, 5 cents, 10 cents can now make a lot more people OMI millionaires. There's a lot of time left in this journey, and the best is yet to come. So if you're frustrated, stop focusing on the fact that you weren't able to retire with OMI in 1 year of investing, and start making moves now so you can in the next few years. As always, I hope you found my content valuable, and if so, please hit the like button, leave a comment down below. Likes and comments appease the algo overlords and help my channel continue to grow. If you haven't yet, please hit the subscribe button, notification bell for future content. That's it for today. I'm Taps. Thank you for your time, man. Happy trading.